So, Wehraboos are a derogatory term used to mock or simply refer to War Thunder players who are Germany mains and have a habit of complaining and asking for various German vehicles to be buffed or made significantly better through different means. Some may ask for low-tier vehicles to go down in battle rating, looking at you, Panzer IV-H and Panzer IV-J at 3.7. These are generally ridiculed and sometimes dismissed as Germany moments. I have to admit, even I'm guilty of this, as I've seen the most outrageous requests for German vehicles such as this one asking for the 2PL to get the DM63 round. And some of them just asked for the DM63 outright. Naturally, I dismissed it because on the surface, a temperature-independent propeller doesn't bring much to the table, but the ballistic properties are the same as the DM53. So I laughed it off as a Germany moment, until I came across this. This is what seems to be the summary of test results done by Nitrochemie Aschau GmbH as Rheinmetall Nitrochemie on their new propellant. They tested it on three kinds of ammunition: the 155 modular charge systems for the DM72 and DM92, the 120mm APFSD-ST DM63, and the 120mm HE in practice rounds. What we're interested in is the DM63, so that's what we will cover. As a caution and a warning, from here on out it gets very technical and very heavy. I'll try my best to make it understandable and digestible through visual aids, but I'm speaking here from a technical and academic standpoint, so if there are hard to follow stuff, I apologize. They start the DM63 with properties of the shell that have already been established. Equivalent to the DM53 in penetration performance, reduced barrel wear than DM53 by at least 3 times, temperature independence allowing it the same performance across all environments, applicable to all 120mm guns in NATO service, and excellent IM or insensitive munition properties. This last one is what we are interested in. The DM63 is coated in what is known as the L1 SEDB or solventless surface-coated double-base propellant. The SEDB was a response to STANAG 4439 or the insensitive munitions policy for all NATO interoperable ammunition. I won't go into technical detail on what STANAG 4439 2018 is, but I will put a link to it in the description for further reading. So what makes the M63 excellent as an insensitive munition? Let's dive into the tests and find out. The first test done on the DM63 is a bullet impact test. This test, described under STANAG 4241, is a test to determine the effects of a direct kinetic perforation on the shell. In this case, the DM63 was hit by standard 50 cal ammunition with penetration. The result is what they call reaction type 5, which means the case ruptured at the exit when the 50 cal went straight through. The propellant burned along with the combustible material in the shell. However, there was no blast, no fragmentation, or propulsion of parts. What this means is the shell did not explode, but rather it just burned off. It's interesting to note that their definition of no explosion is less than 0.09 bar of pressure from the cook-off. To make a long story short, penetrating the DM63 with a bullet from a 50 cal will not blow it up. It will just burn away until the shell is unusable. The second test done on the DM63 is fast heating test. According to STANAG 4240, the shells are to be placed above a fireplace heated to 550 degrees Celsius using an open flame. In this test, the same results were achieved as bullet penetration. The lid was ruptured and propellant burned along with combustible cartridge material, but there was no blast, no fragmentation, and no propulsions were observed. In short, the shell likewise burned as a result of rapid heating. The third and fourth test was combined into one test. The third test is the RPG-7 Shape Charge Jet Impact as described by STANAG 4526. Simply put, it will detonate a charge that will emulate the effects of an RPG-7 hit to the shell. The fourth test is a sympathetic reaction test. This refers to the detonation of nearby shells because of a detonation in one of the shells. This is what we know in-game as ammo racking. The result of the third test is summarized as deflagration of the donor. In this case, the donor is the DM63 shell with a shape charge and the other DM63 shells in the rack are acceptors, as they accept the explosion from the first shell with a shaped charge. By noting down deflagration of the donor, they simply mean that the original shell did not explode, but rather slowly burned away. This leads to the result of the fourth test, sympathetic reaction. There was no reaction on the other shells in any way other than a dent on the shell nearest to the explosion, while the other shells were undamaged in any way. The conclusion to all that jargon was that the DM63 cannot be ammo racked. When hit by a kinetic penetrator like a APFSDS dart or bullets, the shell that was hit did not explode but burn out. When hit by a shape-charged jet, the shell did not explode but burn out as well, meaning that if Germany did get the DM63 for their Leopard 2s, it's the end of ammo rack for the Leopard 2 in any meaningful way. And with how ammo works as extra armor sometimes in War Thunder, Leopard 2 players can take full ammo and end up being safer than taking less. The worst part about this is that there are no known counterparts to the DM63. Sure, all 120mm NATO guns can fire the DM63, but I doubt Gaijin will give the United States, Sweden, France, and Italy the DM63 just to put them on equal footing. By effectively ending ammo racking, the Leopard 2 just goes a step further in its survivability. I admit even sometimes I rely on ammo racking the Leopard 2s by shooting the rear of the turret to perforate the ammo storage door and rely on the ammo rack to one-shot Leopard 2s. So yes, Germany mains were really onto something when they were asking for the DM63. It's a really cold day in War Thunder when the Wehraboos are somehow right. Thanks for watching. See ya. This is the Dr. MD, and as always, Godspeed.